Are you ready? Welcome to the Think Millions podcast, a channel where you get an unfiltered, raw, and authentic conversation about the challenges of being an entrepreneur and tips and tricks on how you can scale your business to the next level. If you are looking to scale your business, then you're in the right place. Introducing our host, Alexa D'Agostino.
Welcome to the Think Millions podcast, a podcast where you have real people that are actually millionaires coming to you, sharing with you real life tips. I'm just putting that out there because there's so many fugazis talking about building $1 million businesses and they make like $20,000 a year. But anyway, so we're coming live every week with you, telling you exactly what's happening in our business and exactly what we see in our clients, what we see in our businesses, and coming live with you, sharing with you everything that is and isn't working so that you can go back and scale your business. And that is what we want to do. We want to help you build a multi-million-dollar business. I'm here with my partner, Deb Shannon, and today we're going to talk about the number one reason why your business isn't growing. So I thought this would be a fun game, Deb. I think I share my reason and you share yours, and let's see. Let's just throw them out there, okay?
The number one reason your business isn't growing, in my opinion, is because typically what makes somebody good at what it is they're selling, whether it's a product, a service, they're a great cook, or they're, a great manufacturer, they're a great whatever, does not make them good at business. So in the end, they hit a ceiling because they're good at their skill, their craft, their art, whatever, their service. But it doesn't necessarily mean they know how to grow a business. So it comes down to not knowing what they're doing from a business standpoint.
I completely disagree.
Oh, of course.
Because I think anybody can learn how to build a business. I mean, anybody could be a CEO if you listen and you're coachable and you freaking go get a coach that can teach you how to be a business. In fact, I actually think that the number one reason is that people just don't really want it because they're know-it-alls or they're lazy or they don't want to put the effort in. Yeah, I'm going for it. Like, do you really want $1 million business? Do you really want a 6-figure business? Do you really want to put the effort in? People think, oh, the 4-hour work week, that does not exist, people. No, it does not exist. You know the amount of hours I put into my business? Like, crazy amount of hours. Like, before I was even paying Deb, she was probably spending more hours in my business than people spend in their own business. Like, it's the reality.
You got to build.
People don't want it. And at the end of the day, if you have a skill set and you don't know how to run a business, you can learn that. If it's the opposite, if you know how to run a business, but you don't have the skill set, like sometimes you can learn the skill, but sometimes you can't. Like you can't necessarily always train strategy, right? Like you watch me with RIT, right? When I'm sitting there and I'm building out the strat, like that's not something somebody could just be taught overnight. Like that's like 17 years worth of me building things and seeing things work and seeing things not, being coachable, having mentors. Like that's not just like boom, overnight, you have a skill.
Right. Well, okay. So I get your point. I see your point and I raise your point. What I say is, so let's say that you got
what are we betting? What are we in Vegas?
Yeah, table stakes. We're at table stakes here. So, but it's true. I agree with what you're saying.
This is getting heated.
Okay. And I'll add to that. And what I'll say is, like, it's cool that like people have a business or they started a business or they're even in business. But the truth is, they're going to say they want it. They would. Why am I in business if I didn't want it? They want it. But
that's why you just made my point. My point is that the truth is they really don't want it. Like, but they're saying they want it.
Oh, well,
you just made my point, just so you know.
Well, that's getting under the covers and saying, okay, what is it? Is it a lack of willingness or is it a lack of skill or is it both? We'll call it skillingness.
Ooh, skilliness, not to be confused with silliness.
Right. Well, it is silliness because if you don't have one or the other or both, you're done. I mean, like phone it, you're done. Like time to go home, stick a fork in it. Because if you really want what it takes, then you have to learn what it takes. And what I'm saying is I operate under the belief that if you're in business, it's because you want to grow your business. However, I will agree, Alexa, that there are many who give it lip service.
Yeah.
And their ego gets in the way of them learning what they need to or doing what they need to in order to get there. So I don't think you can operate. I don't think you can grow without both.
And I'm going to call it C square, S square. That's what you need to grow. Do you know what the C square, S square is? Let's see if she pays attention.
The S is skills.
Uh-huh.
And the C is C.
Squared. Are you not good at math? That means there's two.
Well, yeah, but you said C squared. So I don't know.
Yes, C square, S square. So there's two C's, two S's.
Just answer your own
All
question.
right, fine. I'll just answer it. For those listening to the podcast, she's rolling her eyes at me. So C is clarity and confidence. You cannot grow without clarity in your messaging, clarity in your offer, clarity in what the heck you're selling. If you get on the phone, we had a student for like 4 months was so stubborn to change her offer. And then she finally sends us her sales call. And like, she gets on, she's like, well, blah, 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 blah. Like she couldn't even say what her offer was. I'm like, if you don't have clarity, nobody's going to freaking buy from you. And then the second is confidence. If you're not confident, like anybody that jumps on the phone with me, I'm like, work with me or don't, I don't really care, but here's what I can do for you. Like, I'm confident because I'm good at what I do. I have results. What's that face for?
I mean, first of all, did she really say boobity blah blah blah?
Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
Well,
That's exactly
okay,
what she
a
said.
different problem here, and you need to check her for stroke symptoms. Okay,
Oh my God.
give her a break. Something
all right. The S square is skills and support. You need the skills. Like Deb said it. You need marketing skills, communication skills. I think writing skills is really important, and you need sales skills. You need those 4 skills in order to build a business. And then you could talk about as you scale into 7-8 figures, you need leadership and team building skills, and eventually different kind of communication skills with investors and board members. And then support. You can't do it without internal and external support from your family, friends. If they're not supportive, get them the hell out of your life. So I don't care who they are. If they're not supportive and they're not there for you, then they're going to drag you down. They are blowing up your business. And externally, you need a coach. Like, enough of this free mentor crap. It doesn't work. A free mentor does not work. They're not committed to you. Get a coach, get a consultant, somebody to help guide you. Stop spinning your wheels, stop trying to do it yourself, and get somebody to help you, period.
I wish you would get worked up and excited about this topic.
Oh, I am amped.
So how much do you think, though, of this can be like stubbornness and ego?
Everything. It's why I said they don't really want it. Are we saying I won here? Because I'm thinking I won.
No, we're not saying you won here.
You have not given me any evidence that you're right. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm saying that Think Tank coaching is all about building those business skills. So clearly we agree that part of the problem is people don't know how to grow a business. They're good at what they're good at, but that doesn't make them good at business. And I said this to you before we started the call. I go to these networking events. I talk to a lot of people. I'm like, what business are you in? And they'll tell me, and it's a setup. They'll say, I'm in insurance, or I'm in, coaching, or I'm in whatever. And then I go,
basically, you're an ass. You're setting
yes. Right. But I'm being useful. I'm a useful ass. And because when they say, what business are you in? I'll go, I'm in the business of business, which stops them. They're like, wait,
I don't even know what the F that means either. Just like, I'm in the business of business.
Okay.
And you're in operations. I mean,
it's C squared, S squared. I'm in the
business. C squared, S squared. That was genius. In fact, I already pretty much wrote, as we're on this podcast, an entire lesson in our course. I knew you would.
Okay? There's already a lead magnet. There's
a lead magnet, a lesson in the course. This is actually, I'm going to write that down. Lead magnet. Good idea.
You literally are. You guys, she's not kidding. This is how she.
No, I'm really not.
That's the other S. Maybe it's S, cubed, because it's speed of implementation.
Yeah. We're not even at that point yet.
Know,
this is just to be able to even like function. But forget about
here's what I'll give you.
C square, S square is to be able to actually function. If you want to scale, it's called M, which is marketing by modification, right? Which is speed of implementation, data. I guess you could put analysis, but analysis and redo basically, right? And revise. So speed of implementation, well, I guess it's execute, right? But the speed is really important. Analyze what's happening, and you got to revise.
Yeah.
That's how you scale. And keep doing that on repeat.
I feel called to clarify that we're not necessarily saying that people are lazy and stupid.
I never said stupid. Those words never came out of my mouth. But what I am saying is that people lie to themselves. Like, I was on with a client today. You probably read the notes of my meeting today. And I lit into them. And I said, you tell me you want a $5 million agency. And within 12 months, I quadrupled your agency revenue. And I'm 12 months into mine. Why? Because I want it more than you. Why do I want it more than you? I gave you that one pager to create for yourself 3 weeks ago. Why wasn't it done? Do you really want it? So I said that to him. I said, do you really want it? Do you really want a $5 million agency?
What did they say? Did they say they really want
Kind of like a blank stare, actually. Kind of like, yeah, I gotta work faster. Yeah, you gotta work faster.
Well,
I have no leads. Well, are you doing lead gen? No. Well, that's why you have no leads.
Probably what was happening there when it was a blank stare was that person was probably actually asking themselves that question. Wow, do I? Because here's the deal, in all seriousness, like we've been having a little bit of fun, but like with think tank coaching, what we teach is that there are things that have to happen. There's no 4-hour work week. There's things you got to do. There's things that have to happen. And it's really maybe where you and I, where our Venn diagrams do overlap here, is there has to be willingness. Like you can want it all day long, but are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to go to any length to have it? Are you willing to put in the time, the energy, the effort? Are you willing to learn what you need to learn? Are you willing to admit that you don't know what you don't know? Like you got to bring all that willingness. That is the key that starts the ignition of the car that's going to get you where you want to go. And if you're not willing, you need to know that too. Find out what you are willing to do, and then we'll help you get to that level. It's up to people to define their own success. I mean, ultimately, but don't tell me you want to get here, but you're only willing to do what it takes to get here. And for those listening, I have one hand higher than the other. So you got to be.
But I think the conclusion of this podcast is that I won, and my reasoning of why your business isn't growing. Yeah,
that's the point.
That's the point of this whole thing is I am right. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm not. Sometimes it's lazy. I said that's one of the reasons. Sometimes they don't want it. Sometimes they're lazy. Sometimes they don't have the skill. But like the truth is, do you really want it? You know, it's so many excuses. Oh, my kid, this, that. Like this week, I was literally like in bed all week sick. I probably worked more than most people do when they're not sick. Like
you were feeling productive. I was like,
I'm like throwing up in bed and I'm like working. Like, you know, it's like it's a sacrifice to get to where you want. If you want financial freedom, if you want to build a business, if you want to change your life and everyone else around you, there's a sacrifice to it. Like, period. Right.
You know, I think you really kind of, here's where I 100% think you were completely right. You were right all the way.
But come on, let me hear it. Let me hear it.
It applies to both the things we both talked about. I think the word really is clarity, because I really do think that people.
Back to what you said.
Listen. They really want. I do believe people want it.
Ooh, it's clarity if they really want it.
But it's clarity if they want it, right? When they find out, all right, here's the 100 steps you got to climb. Here's what you've got to do to get there. They may go, ooh, I'm not sure that's really what I want to do. Like, I don't want to run a team, or I don't want to hire a bunch of, or I don't want to, you know, and so they don't know what they don't know. And then the other thing is, so they got to know that part. And then the other is they got to get clear on what gaps they have in their business acumen and how to build a business. And they got to know that too. So in the end, I think it's a lack of understanding and clarity. That's the word.
I like that. I think that you're right. See, we're combining our reasons. See, this is cute. This is a nice ending from this battle. You know, you need clarity? Do you really want it? Because it makes a difference. And it sets different expectations. And believe it or not, and I'm not saying it's not a bad thing, guys. I'm not saying if you don't want $1 million company, that's okay. But what it's going to do is reset your expectations for yourself. And sometimes people give false expectations both ways. Sometimes like, oh, I only want, so many people go to me, oh, well, I don't want a 6-figure company. No, you probably do. You're just scared. So you convince yourself you don't want it. Right. And then some people are like, I want a 7-figure company, but really they're not willing to put the effort in to get to 7 figures. So really, truly, they don't want it. So it goes both ways. So you have to look in the mirror, like, I want $100 million agency. And I could say that with clarity, like, because I know we're going to do it. So for us, like, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of how and when. And we have our goals set up to get there, and we're going to do it. And that's the bottom line. I know Mighty Yum and Aluna both will be multi-billion-dollar brands. Like, I can say that, and I want it. Like, I'm putting the effort in because I want it. Right? You could tell what you really do and do not want. You can.
You can tell by people's energy, attitude, enthusiasm. You know, it's called flow state. You know, you lose track of time because you're having such a good time doing what you're doing. And like, this is probably the biggest game changer for me that came out of being in passion and in think tank coaching was getting that clarity. I know what skills I have. I know what skills I don't have. I know what I'm good at. I know what I enjoy. You know, I've had enough trips around the sun to have a lot of this figured out, but pulling that together into a cohesive plan for how to press myself into service to earn the kind of money that I want to earn and build the kind of wealth I want to build took some time to figure out. And I needed that. I needed advisors. I needed people who could say, here's what we see you being good at. Here's what we think it's worth in the marketplace. And here's how you scale. And if you don't want to do that, then you need to pivot to do this. And it made all the difference. It's a complete, I don't know. What do you think? 90 degrees, 180 degrees for me? Like, it was a big move. And it's,
I would say 180. You didn't have confidence. Like, you were always so confident in your ability, but for whatever reason, you didn't like charging people what you really were valued at.
I think I let the industry set the rate, and that's the mistake.
Yes, the industry set the rate, but also like you like helping people. And, you know, sometimes I think you feel bad, but now we've changed that.
Yep.
And we're good to go. So everybody listening, I hope I would love to actually know what everybody listening thinks. So DM me.
Vote for Debbie.
No, don't vote for Debbie. I want to know who won, me or Debbie, in this debate. Is it clarity, or is it that the truth is you just don't really want it? Like, why isn't your business growing? So I want you guys to DM us or email us. Everything's in the show notes, so you can DM us and get the links in the show notes. I want to know what you think, and we're gonna announce who won on social. I'm like, live. We're doing it live, right? So if you haven't already, hit that subscription button. We come live every Tuesday and Thursday, giving you real life things that's happening in our business. It's a lot of fun, guys. This is a lot of fun to do, to build this business with great people, but then share it with you guys feels so good. And we give you the raw, like we're coming to you with real life issues, and sometimes it's sensitive, but I think it's important because that's how you all grow and how you learn, right? If you are looking for a coach and you are looking to scale, you could check out thinktankcoaching.com. Think is with a Y. I'll put the link in the show notes. Make sure to rate us on Apple, Spotify, whatever you're listening, and share a podcast. And if you want more, you can go to thinkmillions.com, and we will see you all soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Think Millions Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really appreciate that effort, and we'll catch you in the next episode.